Hey everyone, I am back with a new video and this is going to be the video for my YouTube Artist Collective drawing for this month. If you're new to my channel and don't know what this is all about, I have linked in the description box the video where I talk about the collective and also a direct link to our Facebook group. So let's get started. For this month, the chosen theme was mythical creatures. I had a mixed reaction to this theme when it won the poll because, for one, it's a theme that I rarely do, so I didn't really know what to do for it. However, because it was rare for me to draw fantasy or mythical creatures, I wanted to use this as an opportunity to expand my range and, in a way, try something new, step outside my comfort zone. So that was the plan anyway. However, it didn't work out so well. It was like I had so many ideas in my head, but at the same time, I didn't have a clue as to what I was going to do. Like, does that make sense? So I was brainstorming concepts and characters, just things that I could make a drawing of. And I was researching what kind of mythical creatures are there. And actually, the first thought I had when I found out that this was the theme, I wanted to do something Filipino related. I don't know why, but maybe it was because I just came back from a really long vacation from the Philippines, or maybe because I felt really nostalgic. But I wanted to focus on a mythical creature that's from the Philippines. It's also a big part of my childhood, being exposed to those kinds of stories and sayings for a chunk of my life. It felt like the perfect opportunity to bring a bit of my culture into my art. But like I said, it didn't really work out, and also you can see from what I'm coloring that this creature is half human, half animal. I had a few more ideas before finally deciding on this one. Aside from a Filipino-related mythical creature, I also wanted to draw fairies. And I've always really admired concept art that shows a scenery and some characters in a story, and the drawing deeply conveys a mood. And while I do admire that kind of art, it wasn't something that I did often or at all. And backgrounds are not my thing, or it's still something that I'll have to practice for a long period of time to be able to draw them confidently. So when the Filipino-related mythical creature didn't work out, I started thinking of drawing a fairy in a setting. And I was sold with the idea, and I even started drawing and painting it already. However, it's something I need lots of practice on, so the drawing I made didn't turn out well. First times are usually like that. I was also a bit too ambitious considering that I had a deadline to meet for this drawing. If it was just a personal project or artwork that I was creating, for example, the drawing I made titled But That's How We Grow, being ambitious with a drawing would have been fine. I could have explored different ways I can draw out a scenery and achieve a drawing that I was happy with. And so we arrive to this drawing. It's also one of the ideas that I came up with when brainstorming for the theme, but the reason as to why I didn't choose this idea in the very beginning was because I feel like it's within my comfort zone, and my goal at that time was to try something different. So in the end, this is kind of like my plan C, and even though it wasn't my original plan, I'm still really happy with how this turned out. It's pretty much what I had pictured. I don't know if you've noticed in my videos, but I really have a thing for queens and royalty, and I try to put that essence into my drawings, I guess. So I wanted to draw patterns, and more importantly, I wanted to create a drawing that resembled a Renaissance portrait. You know how if you were wealthy, you'd commission an artist to paint your portrait, and it would commonly be in this pose, like relaxed but confident and a little bit boastful because those paintings were usually commissioned to brag about your wealth. And sometimes there were elements within that painting that said something about you, or sometimes it was also to brag more about your wealth. So that's what I was trying to do for this drawing. It's kind of like an appropriation, but it's not really. And also, I did use my Copic markers along with the Winsor and Newton markers. With watercolors, it's still a 50-50 chance that I am able to create decent work with them. Whenever I use them, I have an image of how it might look in my head, but the result isn't always the same, which can be a disadvantage and an advantage. However, with markers, since I have more experience with them, it's more likely that the image I have in my head of the final result is the same in real life. So in a way, markers and pencils are like my safety net. And yeah. So now, more about this drawing. I decided on drawing a half deer, half human, and there's no specific reason as to why I chose a deer as an animal. I remember coming across this image of a girl with antlers and a flower crown. It was like fashion photography, and I really liked the aesthetic of the photo. So that kind of inspired the use of the deer in this drawing. Then I tried to find what this kind of creature is called, and I actually couldn't find one. So if you know what this creature is called, then feel free to comment it down below. I also want to talk about my first impression of the Express It blending card, which is the paper that I use for this drawing. I've seen Bailey J use it, which I believe she uses for her Copic art. So when the local art store finally started carrying this product, I had to purchase it and give it a try. Also, because it says on the packaging that it is especially selected for use with Copic markers. I purchased this for $11, I think, for a pack of 10, which in my opinion is fairly expensive since the paper I commonly use for Copics, which is the Quill Multiboard, is also around $11, but for a pack of 100. However, I reckon it's a great investment, especially if you want to be more serious in art and sell your artworks. The paper is really smooth, like really smooth. It's a great brand for marker paper, though for its price, I would have thought that the ink wouldn't bleed at all to the back of the paper. Like, the ink shows through at the back of the paper, but it doesn't go all the way through that it would damage the surface underneath the paper. The Quill Multiboard is actually the same. So with this, I had the expectation that I would be able to use the front and back of the paper for Copic markers. So I don't know if I will keep on purchasing this paper for my marker drawings, since I will be paying 10 times more for this material, though I think I could purchase this brand and use it for artworks that I plan to sell, and keep the cheaper brand for personal and practice drawings. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the narration, so I will just add music and leave it here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Check out my social media links in the description box, as well as my Society 6 and the YouTube Artists Collective. They are all linked down below, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.